And hit record to make sure that we capture our webinar. All right. So it is my great pleasure to welcome everyone formally to today's webinar. I'm Jennifer Splansky-Juster, Executive Director of the Collective Impact Forum, and I'm pleased to be today's MC on behalf of today's co-host partners of this webinar, the Collective Impact Forum, Help Me Grow National, and the National Collaborative for Infants and Toddlers. It is our great pleasure to welcome you to Strategic Advocacy, Expanding Your Comfort Zone. I hope everyone is doing well and staying warm today. Shortly, we will be turning the mic over to our lead speaker for today, Alan Mattison, who I will introduce more fully in just a moment. But before we dive in, I want to just do a few logistics for our session today. So we can go to the next slide. So today's session is being recorded, and the recording and slides will be sent out within a week. And throughout our session, we want to encourage you to engage in the chat and also use that chat box to share questions that you have as they come up based on what Alan shares with us. If you have any technical difficulties or technical questions, please do send a direct message to Andrea to Andrea with NCIT in the chat. And thank you, Andrea, for running today's webinar behind the scenes for us. So grateful. Next slide. So today's session, we also want to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous lands that we're all joining from. Although we are meeting virtually, it is important to acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from Indigenous territory. And we honor and respect the diverse Indigenous peoples connected to this land and their pasts, present, and future on these lands. So I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining the session today on the traditional land of the Ohlone people, past and present. And I also would like to invite others on the line to acknowledge the lands that you are joining from. And if we go to the next slide, if you are not familiar with the lands from which you're joining, we encourage you to use one of these two resources here to learn which lands you are joining from. So native-land or land.codeforanchorage.org are great resources to help you determine from which lands you are joining. Thank you. I see these coming in. That is fantastic. And I also just want to recognize that if this is new information for you, please do make a note of what you just learned about the lands that you are on. It's a great first step to understanding more about the Indigenous communities that are part of your area, both historically and currently. And I also want to recognize that acknowledging Indigenous lands and communities is truly just a first step in strengthening our knowledge, relationships, and accountability to better support our Indigenous community members. Relationship building and understanding community context are, of course, key factors in the work that we are all doing. And building your knowledge of the many layers in your community, including the Indigenous community, is essential for the work that we are all striving to accomplish. I want to point folks to the Native Governance Center as a terrific resource for going beyond the land acknowledgement. There's some great resources to support not only acknowledging the land you're on, but also how to take steps beyond that to connecting with Indigenous folks in your community. So nativegov.org is a great resource to continue this exploration and learning. Next slide. So today, it is a pleasure for me to be welcoming everyone on behalf of the three partners hosting this session: the Collective Impact Forum that I represent, the National Collaborative for Infants and Toddlers, and Help Me Grow National Center. So because we have folks that have joined us from all three of these different networks, we just want to do a very brief introduction about each of them so you can learn who else is on the line. So the Collective Impact Forum is a program that supports community-centered solutions to strengthen collaboration, advance equity, and improve lives. The forum provides resources, hosts learning events, and offers coaching that can help advance place-based collaborative work. Also, of course, we have hosting our webinar, the National Collaborative for Infants and Toddlers, or NCIT. which is an education and advocacy movement bringing together organizations and individuals across the U.S. who want to improve the health and well-being of infants, toddlers, expectant parents, their families, and caregivers. Using policy advocacy as its tool, the NCIT supports federal, state, local, and tribal efforts to pass effective policies and to maximize public investment in prenatal through 3 systems. I'd like to now invite Kimberly Martini-Carvel on the line, the Executive Director of Help Me Grow, to tell us a little bit about Help Me Grow National.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you everybody for being here today. I'm hopeful that many of the affiliates from across the Help Me Grow National Network are here and being able to take advantage of this opportunity that we have come together on. For those of you who don't know, the Help Me Grow National Center supports 30 states plus the District of Columbia to implement in about 140 locations the Help Me Grow model. And this is to better serve children and families. Advocacy work is embedded in absolutely everything our affiliate network does in order to integrate evidence-based programs and promising innovations into state maternal early childhood sectors to make the best use of existing resources, diffuse best practices, and foster optimal child and family outcomes. Help Me Grow is a model that works to promote collaboration across child-serving sectors in order to build a more efficient and effective system that promotes the optimal healthy development of young children. We are excited to share in hosting this webinar today with our partners, and we look forward to supporting our affiliates and continuing this conversation in the future. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. And so just a little nugget, I would say, about how this webinar came together. So I had the good privilege of attending the Help Me Grow National Forum this fall and heard the keynote from Lori Frasina, who is the Vice President and Executive Director of Voices for Healthy Kids at the American Heart Association, which is the organization that provides the staffing and support for NCIT. And Lori gave such a fabulous talk, and it was a really compelling call to action to everyone in the room to engage in advocacy more fully and more intentionally. And during Lori's session, I just kept thinking about what a huge opportunity it is for the nonprofits in our networks to do more advocacy work on behalf of the children and families in our communities. And I think often individuals and organizations can be held back due to uncertainty or fear, or just not a full understanding of what can contribute to advocacy work. And so when I shared this with Lori, she enthusiastically suggested that we bring the expertise of Alan Mattison into all of our respective networks to demystify a bit about advocacy and perhaps debunk some myths. So at this point, I am so happy to introduce Alan. Now, Alan is a lawyer who represents nonprofit organizations on lobbying and campaign finance laws, corporate issues, and other challenges. He specializes in helping organizations understand the line between educational and lobbying activities. That way, nonprofit leaders can plan strategic advocacy campaigns that stretch their non-lobbying grant funds and have the biggest bang for their buck. Before becoming a lawyer, Alan worked in political communications. He was the media relations director for a national environmental group and served in communications roles on political campaigns in the U.S. Senate. So you can read more about Alan online. And with that, I am happy to turn the mic over to you, Alan.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. And thank you all for joining the call today. I'm really excited to be talking to everybody. And I've got the chat box open, as Jen mentioned, so we can get questions that you have. I want this to address any questions that people have. The goal today is helping people understand how to increase their advocacy in a safe, completely safe way. So what we've done is we're going to split this. Today we're talking about advocacy in the 501c3 context for nonprofits. We're also going to do another session for folks who are in government roles, so government employees, whether they're at universities or public health agencies or other government agencies, talking about ways that those government workers in their roles can get engaged in advocacy. But today we're talking about nonprofit organizations. And it's all about, as Jennifer mentioned, feeling comfortable about your role in what I think of as the policy change ecosystem. What's your role in getting policy changed? Because not everyone wants to get their toes right up to the line, but you need to know what's allowable and where that line is in order to judge how close you're going to get your toes to the line. The way I like to think of it is expanding people's comfort zones. If you think about it today, the goal today isn't for people to get outside their comfort zone. I hate that idea of getting outside of your comfort zone. When I think of advocacy, I want organizations to understand what they're allowed to do, which is going to have an effect of expanding your comfort zone so that you're going to be more comfortable with engaging in advocacy in a variety of different ways. So Emily asked, are we going to be addressing government employees today? We're going to address government employees on the next session that we do. That'll be specifically addressed to government employees. Today we'll be addressing what the 501c3 sector can do to engage in advocacy. So the first most fundamental point to make is that Section 501c3 charities, which is the majority of the organizations on this call, they're allowed to engage in lobbying. Now, there's a limit to how much lobbying they can do, but I think that the real takeaway here today is organizations can do a lot more advocacy that's not lobbying. And that's really what we're going to focus on today, because so many foundations give grants to public charities that say that they're not allowed to use the grant money for lobbying. So organizations have a lot of money available. A lot of it's tied up as non-lobbying grants. And so what we're going to talk about today, to a large extent, is how terrific the advocacy is that you can do using those non-lobbying funds, whether they're non-lobbying grants from a foundation grant, or whether it's just using the organization's own resources for, that you've raised from individuals and other donors. You can use a lot of that money as non-lobbying advocacy. And then, you have a scarce amount of lobbying, a limited amount of lobbying funds. I encourage organizations to use their lobbying funds to the maximum extent that they're allowed to under the law. And we'll talk about how to do that as well. I also want people to think about, this is an election year, of course, across the country. The blanket rule is that 501c3 organizations are not allowed to support or oppose any political candidates. I think people generally know that. What I want people to feel comfortable with, and what we're going to talk about later on in the session, is that there is a bunch of advocacy allowed during an election season that you're allowed to engage in. That is, encouraging people to vote in a nonpartisan, the nonpartisan messaging about voting, about registration. It's also about educating candidates about our issues. And, so how do we get candidates to talk more effectively or engage and feel comfortable about our issues? We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Now, the discussion today about these lobbying rules focuses on the IRS rules. So it's the IRS that says that private foundations aren't allowed to directly engage in lobbying, right? It's the IRS that sets the limits on how much a public charity 501c3 is allowed to spend on lobbying. And within those IRS rules, every organization has its own risk tolerance of what they feel comfortable with in terms of their own brand and how they want to present themselves to the community. And we'll talk about that in a minute. What I want people to keep in mind, though, is that the congressional and state lobbying laws differ from these IRS rules. So you probably have in the back of your head, hey, my state treats lobbying as this or that. That's not what this guy is talking about. And that's absolutely true. There are certainly times where the IRS will say, this is lobbying for a 501c3, and your state will say, no, that's not lobbying. We don't treat that as lobbying, or vice versa. There are times where you have to report to the state, hey, we did this lobbying under the state's lobbying laws, but you turn around and tell the private foundation funders, or you tell the IRS, we didn't do any lobbying. And there's some cognitive dissonance in there, and we can help work through that. But you just have to understand that under our federal system, there's some times where the state's going to say, yeah, this is lobbying, and the IRS says, no, it's not, or vice versa. And we just have to get comfortable with that distinction. So what do I mean by the policy change ecosystem? What I mean is that there's all sorts of different organizations, nonprofit organizations, government agencies that are all having a role in terms of policy change. And everyone comes at it in a different realm and a different viewpoint. And most importantly, a difference in how much they can do under the law and based on what their own organizational preference is. And so what I want people to understand is your organization might be a C3 that doesn't engage in any lobbying because your organization's board doesn't feel comfortable with lobbying. That's totally fine. You still have an important role to play in this ecosystem of policy change. You know, the researchers might not be engaging in lobbying, but they're feeding information and data and research to the organizations that are going to be doing lobbying. You know, the litigation is going to play a role in all of this as well. PACs that are engaging in elections have a role to play. They're not going to interact directly with the C3s, but everyone has a role to play in this ecosystem. So what we want people to do is, as you think about your role in that policy change ecosystem, how can you get comfortable with your role and the way that it's going to impact that larger ecosystem of change, even if you're not doing any lobbying? So for the researchers, I would encourage you to sit down and talk to the advocacy groups, right? What kind of research are they going to find useful when they go to do their lobbying? If the advocacy groups are sitting down with legislators and talking to them about a bill on, for example, menthol and cigarettes, what kind of research, whether that's polling, whether that's biological scientific research, what kind of research are those advocacy groups going to find useful when that they want to hand over to a legislator when they're talking about a menthol ban, for example? Government agencies, figure out what kind of reports the advocacy groups might need if they're doing work in your realm. Now, as a government employee, might not be able to talk directly on doing advocacy directly, but there's ways to, as a bank shop, engage in advocacy by providing information that others will find useful. You know, if you run a Head Start center or you're a pediatrician, could you have legislators come in and visit the office so that the legislator can understand more about how Head Start centers work and why there's such a long wait list and why you need more funding to fix the leaky roof, right? Those legislators aren't going to understand about the needs of Head Start centers unless they've been in a Head Start center and spent an afternoon reading to the kids. Can you put voter information, voter registration information at the front desk so that the parents can get registered, make it convenient for them? Reach out to clergy so that they can be providing information as a trusted leader in the community. Think about all the different ways that we can combine and get people together so that we can do grassroots organizing as effectively as possible. All of the people in this ecosystem, everybody who's on this call, has a role to play. You might not be chaining yourself to the doors of the State House, metaphorically. You know, you're not the one who's on the front lines, perhaps, but you have a really important role to play in all of this policy change. And I want people to think about today what they can do to expand that comfort zone. Now, of course, talk to your lawyer. Every organization should talk to their lawyer to figure out what they're allowed to do. You know, don't just go winging it based on what we talk about here in a short webinar. But really engage with your board of directors and others to make sure that we are doing all we can to achieve the goals that we're working for. Okay, so in this lobbying realm, there's two types of lobbying that we're going to talk about under these IRS rules. There's direct lobbying, which are communications directly with legislators. And then there's grassroots lobbying, which are bank shots where we're trying to get the public to weigh in with legislators. And we're going to share the slides, and I'm going to share all of these definitions that I'm going over right now. I'll share a cheat sheet with all these definitions. But for direct lobbying, the IRS definition is it has to have the following three elements. It's got to be a communication that's directly with a legislator or staff member. It's got to be about specific legislation, and it has to reflect the organization's viewpoint on that legislation. So if we remove any one of these three prongs, it's just not lobbying, right? So what this means is we can talk to legislators or staff members, and if it's not talking to them about legislation, it's just not lobbying. So that means we can talk to legislators about regulations, so if the Department of Health is going to have is promulgating a new rule about pollutants in drinking water, we can weigh in with the legislator, we can weigh in with the committee chair of the Environment and Public Health Committee and say, hey, can you talk to the Commissioner of Health about this new rulemaking, have them increase the restrictions to make sure that we're drinking cleaner, healthier water. And that DEP commissioner is going to be more likely to listen to the Senate committee chair than to listen to you or me. But that's not lobbying by us because we're talking to a legislator, but we're talking about regulations. We're not talking to them about legislation. And so Eric asks the question here, well, so what if we talk to a legislator about specific legislation, but we don't reflect a view on the legislation, right? So we're totally neutral about the legislation. We're essentially reading the bill to them. That would be non-lobbying activity if we don't reflect any view, but it's not going to be very helpful to a legislator. They can read the bill themselves. The IRS takes a very expansive view of what is reflecting a view on the legislation. The IRS says anything that you're indicating the bill is good or bad is reflecting a view. And so my position is, as a 501c3, you're allowed to lobby. And so if you have a legislator's ear and you've got their time, then go ahead and lobby. Don't try to dance around reflecting a view. So we're going to get to testimony in just a minute, but I want to share an example here. So here's an example where advocates from the Massachusetts Food Systems Alliance went to the State House, right? They had buses of folks coming in for the day to talk to their state senators and their state reps about the Healthy Incentives Program, which was a meal program that had passed the previous year. And they were explaining to their state senators how well the program is working, right? How many kids in their school districts are getting fed school breakfast and lunch every day from this program? And how many farmers are having their produce purchased from their districts by this program? The bill had passed the previous year, so they weren't talking about any pending legislation. They were talking about something that had already passed. So it's a communication with the legislator, but it's not reflecting a view on specific legislation. So all of the costs involved for this advocacy day were non-lobbying expenses because they were talking about how a program is currently working, and they weren't making an ask for how much money should be in the budget in a future year, right? They weren't asking for an expansion of the program in the budget. They were simply educating these legislators about how the program was working. And so they could use foundation grant money to bring everyone in for this advocacy day. Importantly, a question that often comes up is, what if a legislator reaches out to me? I'm an expert on this issue. What if a legislator reaches out to me and says, hey, I read your white paper about naloxone. I'm submitting a bill, I'm writing a bill about Good Samaritan laws and naloxone use, and I want you to read my bill to let me know whether this bill is going to be effective. That counts as lobbying because you're communicating with the legislator and reflecting a view on legislation. It doesn't have to be legislation that's already been introduced. It could be legislation that's proposed. So if you're proposing and encouraging somebody to submit a bill on a particular topic, that counts as legislation. Or if a bill champion reaches out to you and asks you to review a bill, that also counts as lobbying. But of course, it's really powerful, even if even if you're talking to a legislator and you have to charge your time to lobbying, your organizations have some lobbying money available. It's really powerful to be able to help a legislator to write their bill, of course. I'll get to the couple of questions in the chat box in just a minute. So the other type of lobbying that I mentioned is grassroots lobbying. And grassroots lobbying has 4 elements, right? So previously, direct lobbying was a communication with the legislator that reflects a view on legislation. Here, grassroots lobbying is a communication to the general public. It could be anything from a tweet to a TV ad. But it's a communication to the public reflecting a view on legislation, and it has to have what the IRS defines as being a call to action. So if you think about it, you can have a communication to the public that reflects a view on legislation. And as long as you leave off what the IRS defines as being a call to action, then it's not lobbying, right? So let's break that down. The IRS definition of a call to action means, either asking people to contact their legislator, or it means a couple of different other prongs that the IRS has identified that would give people enough of a push that they would contact the legislator. So, providing the legislator's contact information, even if you don't say call them, but you give their phone number, the IRS says that that's a call to action. Or identifying a legislator as being neutral or opposed to a bill. So for example, if you do ads that say, Senator Warren is on the fence about this important bill to keep kids healthy, if people know that she's on the fence, that's going to give them a nudge to say, hey, I should give her a call and tell her to get off the fence and to vote yes on this important legislation. What I want people to think about in terms of this prong here is think about strategies to maximize your return on investment. So I want to give you an example here. I had a client that was doing a campaign to get more funding in their city for sidewalks and crosswalks and public transit. They wanted to spend $100,000 on bus wraps that said, call your city council member and tell them to vote yes on this bill for more public transit funding. But they didn't have $100,000 of grassroots lobbying dollars. So what I said was, no one who sees a bus drive by them is actually going to call their city council member, right? And you're the Safe Streets group. You don't want people calling when they see a bus drive by them. We don't want them calling from their cars. So let's do the bus wraps as non-lobbying communications. The bus wraps will say the city council should pass Resolution 264 for more funding for public transit, sidewalks, and crosswalks. It said the city council should pass this bill for more funding, but it didn't have a call to action. They spent $65,000 on these bus wraps. And then they realized that the ads in bus shelters, bus shelter ads are super cheap. And so they spent $10,000 on bus shelter ads that said the city council is considering this ordinance to increase funding for sidewalks, crosswalks, and public transit. If you care about this, call them right now. And they had a QR code so that people could click the link and call or email right from the bus shelter, call their city council member. And it was super effective because the people in the bus shelters had time on their hands, they had a phone in their hands, and by definition, they're the people who are using sidewalks, crosswalks, and public transit. So the organization invested $10,000 in grassroots lobbying dollars to really generate a whole lot of calls to the city council members. And then they spent $65,000 on non-lobbying bus ads to increase awareness about the bill and increase the amount of times the city council members would see information about the bill, but they could use non-lobbying foundation grants for those bus ads because they left off the call to action. So I want people to think strategically about that, and we'll talk about a couple more examples in a minute. So Joanne asks a question about ballot measures, and I'll answer that quickly. The question that Joanne asks is, if you're talking about a ballot measure and telling people to go vote on a ballot measure, is that a call to action? So the IRS treats ballot measures as lobbying because it's like an ancient Greek direct democracy where the voters are voting on the legislation that's going to be legislation for their entire jurisdiction. So under that theory, the voters are the legislative body. So anytime you have a communication to voters and you're talking about a ballot measure, you don't need a call to action. It's automatically going to be treated as direct lobbying anytime an organization has a communication to voters that reflects a view on a ballot measure. But keep in mind, that means that the IRS is allowing 501c3 organizations to influence ballot measures. Every state regulates ballot measures differently, but so you need to talk to your lawyer about the campaign finance implications of it. But it means that C3s can and have complete ability to influence ballot measures in their community. So a couple questions here. So Anna asks, if we're talking to a call to action, are we also lobbying? So if we're an organization and we send an email asking our senator to vote yes on something, yeah, the organization is lobbying, but it's a very small amount of lobbying dollars that you're spending. Similarly, what might happen is in this policy change ecosystem, a coalition ally might ask you to post on social media or might ask you to forward to all of your lists an email asking people to contact their legislators about a bill. And your list might be people who are really interested and engaged about that bill. It's going to take 10 minutes for you to forward that email to everyone in the constant contact universe that you think would be effective. That's a really small amount of lobbying dollars for you to get a huge reach. Similarly, it's only going to take you a minute or two to repost something on social media. So that's a really cheap way of amplifying what your coalition allies are doing, cheap in terms of a small amount of grassroots lobbying expenditure. And Andrew asked about the bus ads. So in the bus shelter example, to be very clear, the bus shelter ads had a QR code that said, contact your legislator, right? The QR code said, contact your legislator, your city council member right now if you want more funding for sidewalks, crosswalks, and public transit. It said, contact them right now about this bill. It gave them a vehicle for contacting the legislators. So that's why those ads were grassroots lobbying. So let me talk about a couple of examples here, and then we'll get back to some more questions. So I think these examples answer some of it. Here is an example from the Baltimore Sun, and I know this is super small, so I'll read the relevant part of it. This was an op-ed that was written by the American Heart Association and Sugar Free Kids Maryland, and they worked with Pastor Slayton in Baltimore to get this op-ed placed. The op-ed says the city council should pass a bill banning sugary drinks from kids' menus. On Monday, the city council is going to vote on the Healthy Kids Meal Bill. This bill is going to have a big role in supporting parents' desire to give their kids a healthy start. The legislation is good policy. We should pass this bill. Let's vote in the chat box. Vote in the chat box. Do you think this is lobbying or is it not lobbying? And if it's lobbying, is it grassroots lobbying or direct lobbying? And explain why. Is this direct or grassroots lobbying or not lobbying? And why do you think so? We have a couple votes for direct lobbying, a couple votes for grassroots lobbying. And so Chris says it's not lobbying. Eric says it's not lobbying because you're talking to the public. Got a whole bunch of different folks coming up with grassroots or non-lobbying. But I'm going to go. So Stephen says it's not direct communication with the legislator. And that's right. This is published in the Baltimore Sun. So it's a public communication. And there's no call to action here. It says that the city council should pass this bill, but it doesn't have what the IRS defines as being a call to action, meaning it never says contact your city council member, because we know no one who reads this is going to, call their city council member simply because they saw at the end of an op-ed, call your city council member at 410-555-1212. So the op-ed is totally non-lobbying. Anyone who's written an op-ed, I used to work in comms, it takes a lot of time to write and place an op-ed. You got, it's like 10 hours of work to do this op-ed, and that would be a lot of lobbying dollars with very few calls generated into the legislators. But what they did here is, as Leah said, it's going to spur others to action just by reading it. So some people are going to take action, but we're not telling them to. It doesn't have what the IRS defines as being a call to action. It doesn't have any of these prongs in the op-ed. But as Leah says, some people are going to be spurred to action just by reading it. And of course, what the Heart Association and Sugar Free Kids Maryland did is, as soon as they got this thing published, they blasted it out to all of their email lists. They got this out to all their email lists and said, check out the op-ed by Pastor Slayton in today's Baltimore Sun. If you care about healthy kids, call your legislators right now and tell them to vote yes on the Healthy Kids Meal Bill. So it took 8 hours of non-lobbying time to write this op-ed, but after they distributed it broadly to the public, they were then able to use lobbying dollars, 15 minutes of grassroots lobbying time. They blasted it out to all of their email lists and all their social media lists, and they're able to get a secondary hit on this as a grassroots lobbying hit that was going to actually generate more calls because they were directly contacting people that they knew cared about it. And so that's the first key exception here, which is if you have a non-lobbying communication and distribute it broadly to the public, it can later on be used for lobbying, and that's not going to change the underlying cost of the op-ed. So, and so Zoe said, the key cost here are the hours that are spent writing the op-ed, right? They didn't have to pay to publish the op-ed. In the example here on the screen, the roadmap for racial equity, the costs were researching the report, writing it, the layout, printing. It's really expensive to create a roadmap for racial equity like this one. So they talked about legislation, but they don't have a call to action in this report. And this is where I want to circle back to that policy change ecosystem. When the researchers write this roadmap for racial equity, they talk to the folks who are going to be lobbying with it. They said, hey, what would be useful in a report that you guys can use at Lobby Day? We're going to write a non-lobbying report. We're going to get it broadly out to the public. We're going to get it to journalists. We're going to get it to our coalition allies, everyone who's involved with grassroots organizing. We're going to give it to clergy and encourage them to preach from the pulpit about this. So they broadcast this report broadly to the public, and it meant that later coalition allies can then use it for lobbying in their own lobby days, and they'll have really good lobbying materials. But that doesn't change the underlying expense of the report, the underlying time that was spent on it. Earlier, we had a couple of questions about testimony. And when you're giving testimony, it's lobbying because you're talking to a legislator about legislation, unless you get a written invitation to testify. And this is like a Willy Wonka golden ticket. So if you have one of these written invitations, all of the cost and expense of testifying, researching your testimony, all the time you're going to spend writing it, maybe you have to pay for a consultant, maybe you've got to fly to Sacramento to deliver the testimony, all of those costs can be paid for with non-lobbying funds, with foundation grant money. If you get one of these letters, the letter has to be from the committee chair on behalf of the committee itself. It can't just be some crazy backbencher who supports your idea. It needs to be the committee chair inviting you on behalf of the whole committee. And the information needs to be shared with everybody on the committee. It can't just be you and the committee chair writing a bill. But it's a really powerful exception. And the example on the screen is one that I wrote. You can write these yourself. I wrote this one for Rachel Callanan when she was at the Heart Association. She just emailed it to the chairman's chief of staff, who cut and pasted the letter, put it right on letterhead, had the chairman sign it and send it right back. And these letters don't cost the committee chair anything. And even if the committee chair is hostile, to your position, often they'll do it as a professional courtesy to someone else on the committee who asks. So Stephanie says, can you lobby a committee member to secure an invitation from the chair? Yeah, ask a friendly committee member and they'll get one of these letters for you, and then you can come in and testify. It's a really powerful exception that I hope that folks will exercise. Okay, so those are the rules. Getting back to a question that I saw just a bit ago about what happens if Gregory asked, if you have politicians come to your event to speak, or photos of the event, is that an endorsement of that politician? And the answer is no, not necessarily. If you set up the event, you want to think through, is the event going to be lobbying or non-lobbying? And it's only going to be lobbying if you talk about legislation at the event. So for this event where Senator Durbin came to visit a worker education center, they wanted to do this as non-lobbying because it took a bunch of time to set it up. So they just talked to Senator Durbin's staff and said, hey, we want you to come visit and want you to learn about our center. We're not going to talk about legislation because of the nonprofit status we have. This was in a university and the university didn't want to be doing any lobbying. Durbin was thrilled with that, right? He gets to learn more about these issues. The folks, he gets good press on this. It's not an endorsement event. There's no political issue in terms of a 501c3 supporting a candidate because they didn't talk about the election. Now, if you're getting very close in time to an election, this summer or this coming fall, you want to be more sensitive to these issues. But you want to just look at what kind of money you have available and how you want to spend the costs. One of the questions that we've gotten in the chat box is, what about volunteers? Are volunteers lobbying? If your volunteers are engaging in lobbying and talking to legislators, there's no cost involved. And so that's perfectly okay for your organization for not reporting any lobbying if it's done by volunteers, because they're not getting any money from the organization. They can spend their own money to come to the state capitol and talk to legislators. It's just about whether there's staff time that's being spent to support that activity. Another thing and that's even if they're board members, they're not unless they're being paid as a board member. Thinking also about the policy change ecosystem for the folks who are researchers, think about creating materials, not just hefty reports, but fact sheets about legislation are non-lobbying, as long as there's no call to action. So here we have a fact sheet about a healthcare affordability bill. It names the lead sponsors, but remember, naming a legislator is only going to be a call to action if it's saying that that person is neutral or opposed to the bill. It's all the way back here. So if we identify a legislator as being neutral or opposed to our position on a bill, that counts as being a call to action. But identifying a legislator as supporting our bill, that doesn't give anyone a nudge to want to call that legislator. So that's not treated by the IRS as being a call to action. So these fact sheets about a bill are totally non-lobbying because we don't say at the bottom of the fact sheet, call your legislator and tell them to vote yes. We say, if you want to get more information, email Alex or Ashley. And then, of course, Alex and Ashley are going to keep reaching out to those folks who are interested to keep them engaged, and they'll involve them in future lobbying activities. But it's great, it's a great tactic to help out coalition members who might not have the resources or the understanding about legislation to write up a fact sheet about a bill. But if you can do it, you can use non-lobbying dollars to do it and get, it's a great use of non-lobbying money. And they're going to use it later on for lobbying, and that's totally fine. I'm going to skip one in the interest of time. We'll talk about this. So here, this is an ad that ran in the Hill newspaper in Washington, D.C. It's a newspaper ad. Very clearly says that Congress should end the sale of flavored tobacco products, support HR 2339. It's non-lobbying because it's a communication broadly to the public, even though we know it's targeted in a newspaper that people on the Hill read. This is in the Hill newspaper. It's read by legislators and staffers, but it's also read by others in the community, lobbyists, people who work at advocacy organizations. So the communication is a public communication. It reflects a view on legislation, but again, there's no call to action. And so I want people to think creatively. How should we target our messages so that we're sure legislators are going to see them? One way is putting it in the newspaper that the legislator is going to read. Another way is buying a billboard that's right outside the legislator's district office. Doing yard signs in the legislator's neighborhood. Think about ways to deliver messages that legislators are going to read. Because Nancy Pelosi, when she was speaker, saw this ad in the Hill newspaper and wound up holding it up at her press conference that week. So think about ways to get your ad into the legislators' hands. So we have a question again about board members. If they're receiving a stipend for their service, so that they can help, basically the questions are stipends for volunteers to make it easier for them to engage with the organization, whether it's for childcare, whether it's for time off of work. There's a whole bunch of issues that are implicated in that. And that's a particular time when you should talk to your lawyer. But, there is a minimum threshold for how much you can pay to volunteers. If you're paying a volunteer more than, I'm not even going to get into details. Bottom line is pay attention if you're giving stipends or honorariums. And in particular, don't tie the stipend or honorarium directly to something like a lobby day or legislative testimony. If you're paying people to lobby, that could turn them into a legislator, right? You could inadvertently force a person to have to register as a legislator based on your state's rules if you're paying them for the purpose of lobbying. So if you're giving them a stipend so that they can attend lobby day, it's possible that they could be viewed as a paid lobbyist depending on the state law. Lisa wants to know about, touching on lobbyist registration. Different states have very different rules on that. And so, that is, and also some states don't regulate grassroots lobbying at all. Other states say that if you're trying to influence agency regulation or rulemaking, that's lobbying. So there's too much variation to be able to address it in a webinar of this breadth. But it is something that you need to pay attention to. And to answer Ashley's question, yeah, there's no call to action in saying Congress Congress support HR 2339. No call to action because it's not saying contact your legislator, not giving any legislators contact information, not identifying legislators who are neutral or opposed to the bill. All of the prongs of a call to action will be at the bottom of the cheat sheet that we distribute at the end of the webinar. The last thing I want to mention is in terms of election year, voter engagement activities. The materials that we produce as 501c3s on voter engagement have to be meticulously nonpartisan. So if we're going to talk about issues, we need to talk about a broad panoply of issues. So here, for example, the organization said, we need to vote because of good jobs, clean air, and affordable access to clean energy, right? it's a broad panoply of topics that aren't going to align with any particular legislator. So if you said specifically, vote because of, X controversial issue, vote because abortion is important, or vote because we don't want anyone to take our guns away. Those statements would align very closely with a particular candidate in an election. And so that would not be okay for a 501c3 organization. But the example on the screen, vote because of jobs, clean air, and clean energy, that's broad enough that it would cover essentially all candidates. And so a statement like this would be safer for a 501c3 to engage in. Or asking people simply pledge to vote, right? You're not talking about any particular candidate. C3s can just encourage people, hey, pledge to vote, write down a voting plan, or here's information about when voting is in our community. So the question came up about report cards of politicians across multiple issues. The issue here is you need to, if you're going to do a report card, it's tricky for a C3 because you're going to be likely grading them on issues that are issues that your organization has taken a position on. And so your response is likely to align with particular legislators. And that report card, depending on how it's done, could be viewed as an endorsement of the candidates indirectly by saying which candidates are good on your issues. The example on the screen was okay in this Tucson election because what they did was they asked candidates to answer some broad questions, right? Ask the candidates some broad questions about their thoughts about issues facing Tucson and just repeated those fully, right? So they reprinted, they said, you've got 500 words to address this question. We're not going to edit it, and we're not going to indicate which of the answers are good or bad. So it's pure voter education. One question getting to this issue here was from Dominique about targeting messages, whether it's, can you target? And the answer is you can target your messages based on categories of historically underrepresented voters. So you can target messages at communities that historically have been discriminated against, disenfranchised. So for example, you can target it at Latina voters or young voters, women, Black voters. All of those are historically underrepresented populations that you can target C3 nonpartisan messages at so that you can elevate those folks in terms of their voting history. You can't target it based on propensity of how a community is going to vote. You can't target it at neighborhoods that you think are going to vote for one party or the other. And you can't target it based on your issues. You can't say, we're going to target, for example, pro-choice voters, because that's not, it's not historically underrepresented demographics in that way. The last thing I want to mention here is in terms of educating candidates. It's so important, and it's such a great tactic for organizations to engage in. And if I leave you with one thing, think about having candidate briefings where you sit down with candidates, talk to them about your issues, and get them educated about the issues you care about. This is really important, especially at lower levels of government. People who are running for city council, for state rep, or state senator probably have never encountered these issues. And if you need to reach out to all of the candidates who are running for a given office in a given district, which is not hard, there's probably only a handful of these people, send them a packet of information about your issue. For example, here's one that Think Babies did. Send them basic information and say, hey, we'd love to sit down and do a briefing with you, because you're going to change the whole trajectory of their entire career as a legislator, as a politician, by educating them at the outset and changing the direction that they're thinking about your issue. And in addition, when they become elected, they're going to value you as a trusted resource. So they're going to keep coming to you for information about how they should vote and what kind of bills they should write. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is to get in early and try to do nonpartisan candidate briefings with legislators. And then the last thing is, keep in mind, just like with volunteers, you guys can do whatever you want in your free time as long as you're not using organizational resources, right? So you shouldn't be sending information out from your work email about candidates, but if you want to use your personal emails, totally fine to do that. And that's a perfectly easy thing to address. We have one question I want to address here from Nancy is, if you're getting money from individual donations and it's not restricted from lobbying dollars, then the only thing you need to pay attention to are the IRS limits on non-lobbying advocacy. In the early stages of the webinar, and I will share more information on this when I send out the cheat sheet, the IRS gives specific limits on how much money organizations can spend on lobbying. It's easy for them to calculate. It's based on the same definitions I've been talking today, which are called the Section 501H definitions. And I'll send out some information so you don't have to write that down. But you do need to pay attention, Nancy. You got to pay attention to what the caps are, and you can only spend as much as your organization is allocated under those caps. So I know that I haven't gotten to like a third to half of the questions, probably more than that. I apologize to the people whose questions I wasn't able to get to. I'll answer some of those questions in the follow-up email that we send out, but we'll certainly be sending that stuff out. And I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out for an hour to talk about this very nerdy topic. I really want to encourage people to think, as we head into this legislative session and as we head into this election year, think about ways that you can expand your comfort zone and do grassroots organizing that engages with others in your local and state policy change ecosystem. And most importantly, fill out the survey. There's a link in the chat box, or just use your phone to click the QR code. But please fill out the survey. It's helpful to all of us, and we really appreciate it. And of course, visit the organizations, visit Collective Impact Forum, visit NCIT. Jennifer, let me turn it over to you for a last word.
Well, all I just have to say is a huge thank you to you, Alan. As you can see in the chat, your remarks were much, much appreciated, and just want to express gratitude to you. And also thank you to the team at NCIT for connecting all of us with Alan, and for managing today's webinar. This is fantastic. And we look forward, I know all three host organizations are grateful and look forward to staying in touch with participants on the line. So thank you, everybody. Stay warm. And I love the nerdy and important topic call out. Well said. Thank you. We'll leave up the survey